Hello, everybody, and welcome to Norm Live. Oh, baby. We're harkening back to the old days. Classic Norm, where we just would tune in at 8:30 every week, and anything could happen. It was nuts. Like right now, I have to clear my throat. Normally, we just cut. Not now.
Yeah, we're not going to fix that in post.
So I am Live Mike. That's Live Tookie. That's Live Dave. We are here this week to talk about Season 5, Episode 9, The Thanksgiving Orphans, one of the classic episodes of Cheers. I was so happy to watch this and realize it had held up so well. I mean, there's so many choices for Joke of the Week. So everybody getting this beautifully balanced amount of playing time. Mm-hmm. No one person dominated this week. Everybody had great lines. Frasier had lines. Woody had lines. Oh, it was so good. I was so happy with it. You understand why it's consistently ranked among the best episodes of all time. It's really great. Dave, you said you look like you had a thought you wanted to share.
I was just thinking, we always talk about Christmas episodes and very special episodes, but Thanksgiving episodes are really a place where I feel like a good sitcom sets themselves apart. And obviously WKRP probably has the highest bar, but there's a Newhart Thanksgiving episode that's just tremendous. This for me, this episode is it's right in that conversation of all time defining holiday episodes for a sitcom, and for a sitcom that's as consistently excellent as Cheers is. It would be so easy to phone it in, do have a Thanksgiving episode be a retrospective or be kind of soft or flabby, and this one just nails it. I adore this episode.
They really crushed it. And as far as I know, it was the only one they did. I feel like they just would re-air this one. Mm-hmm. I was scrolling through some of the later seasons, and I don't see another Thanksgiving episode. Friends, and different people have different opinions on Friends. I'm a fan, and they did a new Thanksgiving episode every year, and that was kind of their hallmark. And I thought they did it really well. But I feel like when they did Thanksgiving Orphans on Cheers, they said, we're not going to do it better than this. So this is our Thanksgiving episode, and we're not doing another one.
Yeah, I don't know what else they could have done on Thanksgiving that would have said anything more or added more dimensionality to these characters and their relationships. They just kind of, they hit it out of the park. From moment 1 to 30. It's a perfect episode of TV from my opinion.
Did you come in knowing this episode well, or was this kind of a fresh for you?
It was very fresh. But to your point, Dave, because I was the wheels have been turning over here. I definitely came in this fresh because a lot of other TV shows, as you pointed out, would do retrospectives and wouldn't do a fully fleshed out Thanksgiving centric kind of episode. I think back to it was either season 1 or 2 of Fresh Prince, mm-hmm. The original, not the Bel Air reboot, which right. I have thoughts on. But in the OG Fresh Prince, how it was a clip episode basically for Thanksgiving rather than a full, hey, we're sitting down with this family and Will and his uncle and aunt and cousins.
I watched the Fresh Prince. I'm trying to remember this episode because how do you do a clip episode in season 1?
They did it.
Wow.
They did it. Yeah.
Good Lord, people. It's not even that was you're not even celebrating May Day where it's all right, we got a full year of clips to you just had 3 episodes to draw from basically.
They managed to do an entire clip episode of the Fresh Prince for season 1 somehow. It was a whole they showed Will and Ashley playing the drums and all the little classic moments from the first few episodes, and it just it was a choice. It was a choice, and somehow they got away with it because standards were much lower for TV back then.
I guess so. Yeah, when you were on Monday night on NBC, you could just kind of do what you felt.
They knew they were sitting on a gold mine. They're like, we can phone in this Thanksgiving.
All right, Dave, what was going on in the world when the Thanksgiving Orphans premiered?
Uh, November 27th, 1986. Very little happening on or around this day. Um, so I'd like to actually take this time to come to share a little nugget that I found, which actually happened on the previous Thanksgiving in '85. A story I never knew, but I could not stop reading about it once I read about it. And maybe you guys know about this. I didn't realize. Did you know that that Ahmad Rashad proposed to Felicia Rashad?
During the parade.
I did not know that.
Wow. What?
Live TV.
Oh
Yep.
my God.
She's not there, but
Nope.
he looks into the camera and proposes to Felicia Rashad, which forces the NBC executives, because she's at the Thanksgiving Day parade with the Cosby Show. They track her down, pull her into a studio, and then she's got to answer on live TV at halftime of the
Wow.
first NFL game of the day. They bring Ahmad out. He's visibly sweating, and Felicia Rashad agrees to marry him. It's bananas TV, something that could have only happened in the 80s. Just an amazing live television moment. Will never be repeated.
Is it like on YouTube somewhere? Because like,
It's on YouTube.
It
Okay.
is.
The then
Okay.
Felicia Ayres Allen, yes.
oh my God.
Become Felicia Rashad.
Yeah. Because like that is like that is a moment that has to go like in the Black excellence pantheon. I hope it's not lost media. I hope it never becomes lost media. That's great.
Yes.
No, it is out there, along with
Wow.
which then leads to their a wedding ceremony, which attended by both O.J. Simpson and Bill Cosby in
God damn.
photos that are, let's say, arresting to the eye.
Wow. Wow.
Yeah.
Yikes.
And now that union created a daughter who is a co-star on Billions.
Oh, is she? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
You gotta.
Oh, yeah. Oh, my God. I want to say Condola Rashad.
Condola? You suppose her name is pronounced like such? Because
I-
there was a character on HBO's Insecure called Condola who like the collective did not care for.
Oh, okay. I might be messing up the first name. I apologize if I am.
We gotta look her up.
Yeah.
And I guess I gotta watch Billions now.
Yeah. And I feel bad. She's great. She's great. And I might add, at the risk of sounding shallow, stunning.
Oh.
Yes, on both counts, but on Billions, and yes, stunning.
All right.
Yeah. Yeah. They got some good genes together there. That was, yeah, I know it ended in divorce, but there was success in that marriage. Yep.
Fair enough.
Outstanding. All right. Tookie, can you tell us about the cold open this week, please?
Yeah. Cold open. All right. So we enter the bar per usual. And Woody rolls in with like a big, huge box, and Sam's like, "Hey, Woody." Oh no, I'm sorry. So Woody he's sauntering in with a big box, and he goes, "Hey, Sam, is it okay if I hang some Christmas decorations here?" And Sam's like, "Oh, sure." And boy, is that time of year again. Christmas comes earlier every year, doesn't it? And to Woody's like, I think if you check, Sam, it always comes on December 25th. Like, I love helpful Woody. So Woody hangs up a paper cutout. And Sam's like, "Oh, look at that. Nice Rudolph." And Woody's like, "Yeah, I made it myself. And Rudolph is my favorite guy in the Christmas songs." And Frasier chimes in. He goes, "Well, apparently, Woody, you're unaware that the story of Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer is one of the most unrealistic and therefore potentially damaging songs in all of children's music. And it gives a horribly distorted view of reality." And Woody's like, "Yeah, but you got to admit, it's easy to whistle." Like, he's trying to turn Frasier's pessimism around. Frasier's like, "No, I'm serious." First, the other reindeer tease and ostracize him. And then when his abnormality proves of service, they use him. But then do they allow him to play in their stupid reindeer games? And Sam and Woody are both like, "Yeah," because like that's literally how the song goes. And Frasier's like, "Oh, no. I know how the song goes. In fact, not only do Donner, Blitzen, and et al. Not love him and laugh with glee, but they doubly despise the bulbous-nosed little wimp. Well, I gotta be off. Happy holidays." And he's just like dips. And after that whole tirade, roll credits.
Fraser Crane was proto Twitter.
Yeah.
Here's my theory of why this thing you used to enjoy is not fun. I've got a whole bunch of thoughts, and I'm just going to leave them in your lap.
Yep.
He's also a master at having one sip of a drink, remembering he has to be somewhere, and leaving. He does it like 100 times.
Yeah. Yep. It's amazing. He rarely finishes a drink.
This is I mean, that's highly indicative of like this is pre Palm Pilot days where you could just have your calendar in front of you and know where to be at any point.
Mm-hmm. Ah, the good old days. All right, so there is only an A story this week. It is Thanksgiving time at Cheers. And Diane comes in. She's got a little pilgrim's bonnet. She's talking to Sam. She's trying to drop this exciting information that she has. Woody foolishly asks why. And there's so many good lines in this week's episode. Everybody's got funny lines the whole way through. Turns out that Diane has been invited by her professor to attend a recreation of the very first Thanksgiving. Only a few select students are invited. And there are famous people such as William Styron who are going to be at the dinner, leading to one of Woody's great lines. Do you know who's going to be there, Woody? William Styron? Yes, but heck, anybody could have gotten it if they were listening. It's just great. She's excited about this. She's sad that she's not going to be with Sam for Thanksgiving, and then he tells her that he actually has a date. Who has a date on Thanksgiving? Even Sam. I still find that a little bit weird. And begs the question, was he just making this up? Anyway, that's going to be happening for later on. Carla actually mentions that her kids are down in Atlantic City, so she's going to be alone. Woody's going to be alone. Diane makes a suggestion. Why don't you have everyone over to the house? Slowly it gathers momentum, and everyone is going to be going to Carla's for Thanksgiving because, of course, they are. Wonderful. Go to commercial. Come on back. We are in Carla's house. They are watching football on the TV that I had as a child.
Oh,
that
wow.
Classic wooden, yeah. Although I have to say, we actually had the big one that didn't have the legs. Like it was a console TV that just sat on the ground. But yeah, just looking at that TV, that box with the dials, it was just so perfect. They're watching football. Starts with Carla's in the kitchen. Woody is there. Frasier is there, and Cliff is there. They're waiting on Norm, who is going to be coming with Vera. By the way, they've only been married 8 years on this show. Did anyone else notice that? He said, you know what? 8 years we've been going to her mother's. This year we're going to Carla's. Which begs the question, did they just start going to their mother's 8 years ago? That doesn't happen. So that means they've only been married for 8 years, which seems impossible. But a meme has been going around Twitter, if you can still bear to be on Twitter. When Cheers premiered, do you know how old George Wendt was?
32?
34.
34? Yeah.
You guessed 32? Oh my God, I was sure he was 40.
Yeah.
That man is 34 years old. So yeah, I guess it makes sense they got married. So no, but this is season 5. So yeah, they only got married 3 years before the premiere. That doesn't seem correct. Anyway, I digress.
But wait, what if? But you know how you take your girlfriend to dinner, like your steady girlfriend.
Yeah. So it would have been even longer.
No, but what if it was the kid? Like, what if this was premarital dinner?
But that's what I'm saying. That it would have been that they would have been married even less than 8 years. If you also went with the serious girlfriend when you're engaged, then all right, now they're only married, what, 7 years, 6 years?
I don't know. I'm trying to.
Yeah, then he's a newlywed in season 1. That's not possible.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you. I'm saying, writers, right. The one flaw in this week's episode, there's no way they've only been married for 8 years. Moving on. Next, Sam shows up with no date, which I still think, her sister came into town and had to go and do this thing. I don't think Sam actually had a date. As he's been pining away for Diane, I do think it's very clear he did not have a date for Thanksgiving, made that up, and just decided that he was going to say, oh, yeah, she couldn't come. So that is my theory. That is my hot take. Sam didn't actually have a date. He comes in, they scratch up poor Carla's floor, just turning the TV, which even like knowing that they don't totally respect Frasier, still incredibly rude. Comes in, turns the TV so that they can watch it that way. Everyone shifts that way. Norm comes in. Vera's mad. They had a huge fight. He's got the turkey still completely raw. Who comes with the raw turkey? You got to start. You come with it cooked. If anyone showed up who was responsible for the turkey, expecting to cook the turkey there at noon, how dare you?
This is maybe my one quibble with the episode is the mode of transport Norm uses for that turkey, which is a paper bag.
Yeah.
What are you doing, Peterson? I
Yeah,
feel like he knows his way around a kitchen. You can't transport a raw turkey. I mean, there's giblets on the floor of his Dodge Charger. This is unacceptable.
you would
Yeah.
you would think. Anyway, he goes to cook.
Yeah.
Diane surprises everyone. Gobble gobble. She is there. She has been horribly disappointed by the dinner that she was supposed to be going. Turns out that the students have been invited to be the help at this. Which how dare this teacher? Like just pull in teach the kids to be labor for free. Awful. She's there. She notices that Sam's date is not there. And Diane thinks the same thing I thought. But I realized when I was young, I assumed that she was wrong. And now I think she was dead on balls accurate. Uh, they're cooking. Everyone's doing their thing. Norm also moves the TV so that he can watch it. No one is respecting Frasier. That poor son of a bitch. They're watching football. They're cooking things. Diane gets a call from the teacher at Carla's house. I don't know how phones work in the 80s. Diane gets the call. She's invited back and she says, no, this is my family. I want to stay here. They move into the dining room. They are all waiting on the turkey. They're all starving. They're all waiting to eat. Everything's getting cold. They are trying to be nice. They start to really lose their patience with each other. The turkey is not cooking. The damn thermometer will not pop. And then one of the all-time great food fights in history commences. Is it this? Is it Animal House? It's one of the two for the championship belt of food fights. I know everyone thinks Animal House. I say here because those actors, so many of the actors in Animal House were extras that were taking that. These were all above the title stars, taking mashed potatoes to the face. God bless them all. I really love it.
The you can tell obviously like the I think it's fairly well known that the food fight was only choreographed up until Diane like initiates the full food fight when she starts throwing stuff back to Sam, and then like all hell breaks loose.
Ah.
The way that the camera moves is so exciting. Like it's obvious nobody really knows what's going to happen.
Yep.
It pulls off that rare feat of managing to look sloppy and also composed at the same time. Like it's viscerally exciting because anything can happen, and yet like you feel kind of safe watching it because everybody's basically in control of the characters, and everybody's kind of in on whatever's going to happen. Mm-hmm. I love that moment so much.
It's a lovely moment, followed by another lovely moment after the food fight where they're all happy, they're all loving each other, and they remember their loved ones, and Coach gets a shout out. Thank God. Coach does not get enough shout outs. I love that he is remembered. Diane says, revenge is a dish best served cold. She leaves. Vera comes in, played by George Wendt's actual wife. It's very exciting. She comes in. We're all finally going to get to meet Vera. Diane comes out, throws a pie. Mrs. Sam hits Vera. She comes in with a pie on her face. Cut to credits. Lovely friends, Norm. Get your coat. Yes, dear. Just a great episode. Just top to bottom. Great lines. Lovely sentiment. You understand their relationship so well. You understand how important they are to each other. It's all great. It's beautiful nostalgia. I just loved it to pieces.
Yeah, I always feel like there's a risk when they leave the bar that things can get kind of soft or fall apart. And one of I think the thing I really love about this episode is that everybody plays in in Carla's house, everybody plays a slightly different social role. Like Sam isn't quite the alpha. Norm's got a lot of responsibility. Cliff is actually pretty subdued.
Hmm.
Everybody's a little bit different, and but it all like you can see them all kind of like accommodating each other in the same way that like a family kind of does. You
Hmm.
know, they really. I One of my favorite moments is when Frasier identifies them all as dropouts, and
Hmm.
they are. They've all kind of like dropped out of a traditional family setting for at least this one holiday, and yet you watch them all kind of like assume a slightly new role in their own sort of personal family pecking order, and it all kind of shakes out perfectly. Um, and you realize like, oh, these characters actually have a little bit more dimensionality than they can sometimes show in the bar, and they still fit together. It doesn't feel weird or forced. It's so well done.
It's true. It's true, and it fits, and it's apt. Thanksgiving, it's a weird holiday that way
Yeah.
because it's identified so much with, all right, we're all getting together with their families, and that's lovely, and tons of people do that. But, especially when you are in a certain point in your life, sometimes that doesn't happen. Sometimes I always think when I think of Thanksgiving, I think about the years that I lived in Los Angeles, and it was a lot of broke actors, and we all wanted to go home for Christmas, and you couldn't afford to go home for both. Those are back to back holidays, and we
Mm.
couldn't afford to fly back home for Thanksgiving and fly back to LA, and then just 1 month later fly back for Christmas. So you had to pick, and we all picked Christmas. So we would all get together at somebody's house and do it very much Cheers style. I
Friendsgiving?
friend Eddie and Tracy's, and they hosted, and it was potluck, and we'd all bring stuff, and they would make the turkey, and I really loved it. It was really, really great. You did this found family experience, which is what you see in this episode, and it's true to so many of our experiences. That's how you spend Thanksgiving sometimes.
Mm.
Yeah. Toogie, you looked like you were agreeing with the Friendsgiving. Have you had that experience before?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, yeah. I mean, even though I've mostly stayed local, um, yeah, I'm always down for a Friendsgiving.
Yeah.
Like, chosen family is so important.
Have
Uh,
you lived somewhere other than the Boston area? Because I know your folks are right in Cambridge.
yeah, no, just mainly here. Almost made the big leap to New York like several years ago for acting purposes, not for stand up.
Nice. Nice. Yeah, that is very true to Thanksgiving experience.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I have so many friends here who are transplant, like, you know, because I had worked retail for years before doing office jobs and all sorts of things and reaffirming my hatred of people, but that's neither here nor there. But so many of my friends that I made were people, especially in college, like from out of state,
Uh-huh.
uh, who were here for school and who, like many of your friends, had to kind of pick a holiday. And so
Yeah.
Friendsgiving became the norm.
Yep. Dave, what about you? Because you're like from here, and but basically lived here consistently. But I know your folks have been in Florida at different times. Like, did you ever do the Friendsgiving, or has it always been pretty consistently family? Like, did you identify with anything in the episode?
I don't. I think I've always been kind of envious of Friendsgiving because I always
Yeah.
that always looked really enjoyable to me.
Mhm.
I mean, because yeah, I would see. Obviously, growing up, I'd have Thanksgiving at my family's house, and as my family kind of transitioned to Florida, through that time, like my in-laws have always been in Rhode Island. So actually, for like the last 20 years, most of almost all of my Thanksgivings have been with my wife's family, which is again like great. But yeah, I've always been kind of envious of that. Like, and actually, that's something we've tried to sort of adopt as a little bit of like, let's bring in some extra people to now that we're sort of like the Thanksgiving
Yeah.
hosts. We've tried to like open up a little bit and have it be a little bit I don't want to say less insular, but a little bit more like trying to be aware of like those people who maybe don't have
Mhm.
places to go on Thanksgiving, and if we have a couple extra spaces, open it up to friends in the area.
Yeah. The nice thing about Friendsgiving aside from my traditional family stress, is like when you've got the family event, yeah, there comes a transitional point where, all right, who's hosting, who's coming, who's doing what? Somebody's married into another family. Are you
Mm.
doing Thanksgivings? What are we doing? Like that was. I remember Thanksgiving in LA was my first stress-free holiday, where I was just like, oh my god, I just need to go to Eddie's house. I just need to go and see Eddie and Tracy, and a bunch of people are coming, and I just need to not be empty-handed, and we're all going to eat, and that's all I have to think about.
I have a lot of, yeah. So normally, Norm's turkey situation would open the door, would open a floodgate, if you will, about white people and cooking.
Yeah, and I'm here for it.
This is all on Peterson. I am going to, in the spirit of giving, because 'tis the season, I'm going to give the white collective a pass and say that is just a Norm thing
That
to
was,
do.
yeah,
That's a pure Norm thing
yep,
to do.
yeah. A him specific situation. Like,
Yeah.
as flawed as we are as a race, I feel like by and large, we know more about Turkey than Norm.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah,
one
that's
of
one thing we know.
it's
Is,
one of the few things we do exceptionally well.
yeah, we might eat the wrong meat in the bird, but the bird is cooked.
Right.
Yeah, the bird is cooked.
You show up, if you're going to show up with a whole bird, it has at least been basted. It's in the tin, the foil pan or whatever transport
I'm of the mind,
vehicle.
when you go, you should be arriving with a cooked turkey. Yes.
Correct.
Like,
Correct.
then okay, this now it just needs one more hour in the oven.
Mm-hmm.
You cook the turkey, and then you arrive, and then you heat it up a little bit, and now let's eat.
Right.
Thank you.
It made me think, like, when Norm says Vera and I had the worst fight we ever had, like, oh wow, maybe it was really that bad. Like maybe that turkey was supposed to start at the Peterson house and everything got in the way.
Which is the one caveat I want to extend to Norm, which is I was going to cook, and we spent the whole morning fighting. Okay,
Which is, I mean, fine, couples fight, but
I
I
have been.
mean, Norm forgives Vera for a near affair a couple of seasons ago. She should, like, I really feel this is, she can budge a little bit on this one.
Okay, another question. What is the biggest thing you missed because you were having a fight with your loved one, with your partner?
Ooh.
Have to be your current partner. Wow. But the fight got so bad, you missed something where you're like, I can't believe I missed that. I will lead. I was dating a woman who is not my wife, and I missed the first half of a fantasy football draft, which is the half that matters.
That's the good half.
Yep. And that's how I wound up with Derek Anderson as my starting quarterback one season.
Oh.
Awful.
Yuck.
I'd already paid the money, and the auto draft was happening, and it was fucking awful. Got in this big fight, and yeah, it was just terrible, and I missed it. And I've never gotten over it. And I mean, at that point, the relationship's over.
For the draft?
You know, if I hadn't gotten Derek Anderson, we might have been able to work through it. Like, if I had still gotten a good quarterback.
Derek Anderson will break a lot of hearts.
Because I'm sitting with that all season.
Woof.
Yeah.
Woof.
No, and it was such a stupid fight, too. Like, she realized that I dated one more woman than I had mentioned. And we fought a lot. That relationship, we fought a lot. Yeah, she's like, who? And it was on.
But in terms of dating one more, did it matter who specifically or just the number?
Just the number. And it was so ridiculous. Yeah, it was honestly just one of those relationships where everything was a fight. Everything was a fight. It was like, okay, yeah, it was like, you call that spicy mustard? And it was on. It was on all the time. Yeah. All right, biggest thing you ever missed because you were in a fight?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to think. Uh, I got well. I'm not one to engage in lovers' quarrels so much. And if I gotta be somewhere, I'm gonna go.
Mm-hmm.
But I got in a fight, screaming match with my parents, and almost missed orchestra.
Oh.
My because I was in my high school's orchestra,
Mm-hmm.
and almost missed our concert, our annual concert.
That's a big one.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm. Big one.
16-year-old me was not with the shits. Okay.
All right, Dave, do you have one to throw out there or nothing?
I can't think of one that came from a. I don't think this happened. Like I can only think of like one thing I missed. It wasn't because of a fight though, but I can't like. The only thing I can think of is I missed a chance to go to a Red Sox playoff game once because I went out impulsively because I just to buy a Randy Newman CD,
Oh,
which feels on brand to me, frankly.
Oh my God. Talk. Yeah. Yeah. That is very on brand and also very 90s.
oh
It
man.
was 2003. It would have been one of the games against the A's.
Mm-hmm.
This is obviously pre my cell phone. Like I just heard that Randy Newman released an album of solo piano reinterpretation of some of his classics. I was like, man, I got it. There's no way I cannot have that right now. Hopped in my car, ran up like 15 minutes to In Your Ear Records up on Thayer Street in Providence. And while I was gone, my friend had called and said, "Do you want two tickets? Do you want a ticket for Red Sox A's tomorrow night?" And I missed it, and it ended up going to somebody else. But I still have the Randy Newman CD, so I
Okay.
guess I win.
Still a
Technology
win. Still a win. Still
that
a
would
win.
that tragedy now, like in multiple spots. One, you just like buy it on your phone. You don't have to go and get it.
Hi,
Two,
Kelly.
Two,
calling your cell phone. Hi, Kelly.
I have a phone. Is
The phone saves you in two different ways. For all we complain about our cell phones, you would have been at a playoff game
Yeah.
if Randy Newman released a CD today.
Oh, and you know what? You know what?
What?
This would have never happened in the streaming era.
That's what I'm saying. She would
100%.
have a phone. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah. No CD to go buy. You don't have.
I know.
You're not. I mean, it sucks for In Your Ear, but it would have been great for Dave.
We're super live,
Kelly.
Kelly.
It's totally happening, Kelly.
It's happening. It's all happening. Yeah. All right. Let's move through some categories, and then we'll give a little bit more love to the Thanksgiving orphans. All right. Joke of the week. Man, there were a lot of candidates. I loved the delivery when Frasier was talking about Diane's fantasy Thanksgiving of being discovered by William Styron. And then he said, but one of us is kidding. And it was almost too mean, but that's one of the reasons I respect the level of difficulty so much. He pulled it off and it was still funny. And I thought it was great. There were so many contenders, but that's going to be my joke of the week. I could have picked probably 6 more.
That was a drive-by contender for Mel, who was watching the episode as she was walking through the room. Frasier hit that line, and she laughed out loud.
It was great. It's a
Yeah.
great thing. It's beautiful. And his delivery is so perfect. It's great. Yeah. Tookie, your joke of the week.
I couldn't pin one down. This is just a top episode. I feel like this goes on the Cheers Rushmore.
It is, yeah. So do you want to name a couple or?
Oh, God. Yeah, I'm trying to think. I'm just trying to think.
All right, we'll go to David. Tookie.
Yeah.
Joke of the week.
All right, I will name. I'll again, because this is such a dense episode. I'll name my 2 favorite moments. I have like a favorite like written joke, and then my favorite like just response. So I think that my favorite written joke is Woody when he says, "This is my first Thanksgiving away from home, unless of course you count last year." Like just perfect, just a great Woody joke.
Yeah.
But then I laugh heartily every time Shelley Long drops into her lower register to stop the food fight initially. Whatever this thing is that she does to stop them is
yeah.
it's a voice we never hear from her. I don't think we'll ever hear it again, and it's such the right choice.
Oh, it's perfect. It's perfect. Yeah, she dips into her inner mom. It's great.
Yeah. I'm struggling to think, like, I get, yeah, Shelley Long's mannerisms, just the look of her in the pilgrim hat to begin with, the absurdity of that all. Yeah, I'm struggling to think, just because this is a very, very much a Rushmore episode for me.
Yeah.
It's a really, I'm struggling. I really am struggling. I just enjoyed the whole thing throughout. Like, it's not even that any jokes didn't stand out to me. It's just that they all flowed so well. The dialogue just worked well. The punchlines landed when they need to land. 10 out of 10 no notes.
All right. Fair enough. 80s things of the week. My 80s thing of the week, very, very close to my heart. Wrestling on Thanksgiving. That was something that was a tradition for a long time. The NWA had Starrcade on Thanksgiving. It was their flagship event. Vince McMahon in the 80s decided he wanted to cripple the NWA and said, we're going to have the Survivor Series on Thanksgiving. And for years, they had dueling events on Thanksgiving. And then the NWA said, all right, we give up. We can't fight you on Thanksgiving anymore. And then Vince just moved the Survivor Series off of Thanksgiving. And then suddenly there was no more wrestling on Thanksgiving anymore. It was really sad. And there was nothing happening at 8 o'clock on Thanksgiving anymore until the NFL finally decided to have a third game, what were they waiting for? But yeah, wrestling on Thanksgiving was very, very 80s. Dave, what are your 80s thing of the week?
I had kind of the same thing, although yours is, I like yours better. I mean, my 80s thing is really just that, is just Hulk Hogan, is just that like, sort of like prime Hulk Hogan, the signifier of like, we are watching wrestling and we all know what this is because this is a ubiquitous cultural moment led by this ubiquitous icon, Hulk Hogan. Who is in no way problematic or difficult, who is a symbol of America and youth, and nothing bad could ever happen. That vision of Hulk Hogan is my like little like 80s moment when things, because I was 12 and stupid, were going to be just fine.
Woo, we got some problematic fellas coming out of our memory banks tonight.
We should have known it was. Yeah, we should have known he was on some stuff when Hulk Hogan's Pastamania debuted all across America.
And I mean, for a fitness guy to sponsor a pasta place, like, what are you doing?
No.
What are you doing? And he's always had this story. One of many weird things about Hulk Hogan, like not the weird thing, you know, of perfection. Here's the one weird thing that stands out about the Hulkster. But a weird thing, and this is somewhat true for all wrestlers, just because they live this kayfabe life where they're living this character and then they go home and they're still sort of the character, but they're not, is you never know what Hulk Hogan is making up and what's actually true. It's all this weird stuff. He did this like famous episode of Cribs where it got him like Hogan Knows Best, this like reality show for him and his family. And I remember there was a scene in it where he talks about, he shows Andre the Giant's old boots. He's like, guy gave these to me right after we had our last match together. And it was great. You know, he died 3 days later. That was a great match. And it's bullshit. He hadn't wrestled for years before he died because he was in agony. Like he physically could not wrestle anymore. And somehow it's just like, well, this is a better story, so I'm going to tell it this way. And he has this story that he told on his reality show, and he's repeated it multiple times, and there's no one backing this story up other than him. But he says, remember, like, and he blames his wife for this. He said, remember that day we went out, and it's kind of like Dave's missing out on the tickets. This wouldn't happen today. But he said, remember, my agent called, and they wanted me to be the endorser for something, and they called George Foreman too, and we had the choice between the shake machine and the grill. and I wasn't there, and they got in touch with George, and George got the grill, and I got left in the shake machine, and I lost out on $1 billion. And it's
How
like,
is it hurt?
wow, what a story. And I can't necessarily believe a word of it because he just makes shit up.
Ugh.
That's the Hulkster. Sorry, that was quite a little, Hulk Hogan detour. Sorry about that. Tookie, your 80s things of the week, which are probably Hulk Hogan focused.
Okay. Cliff made mention of being in Hands Across America.
Great one.
Yes.
Yeah. So I clocked that. Not so much 80s in the bar, but at Carla's house. So when we go like into Carla's house in the yard, there's that kind of wagon that you barely see anymore. Inside, all of the toys that her kids were playing, like those old boxes of Twister and all that, and especially the wheelie horse and just like toys on wheels with a string. For whatever reason, there was a chunk of time in America when like a child's toy was just an object on wheels with a rope for the child to pull, and I don't understand it.
That
But
time was like 50 years, dude.
yeah, what the hell?
It was not a little window where they just put on things and pulled kids around on them.
What am I supposed to do with a phone on wheels with a rope to pull?
It's there.
What am I supposed to do with this?
Phone.
What am I supposed to do with this? Okay. The corded phone on the side of Carla's couch, because it was a very specific type of beige telephone that was pretty like prevalent in the 80s, and that was at people's houses. And I think at that point they were just phasing out from like the rotary looking with the dials on the faces to the thing like you do like such, and it's curved. But that phone leapt out at me. The cans of beer, it's not just like having beer all over the house, but like the shape of the cans was very of that time. Kingsbury beer, is that even a real one? But I caught that on the label. Like you mentioned earlier, Mike, a TV that is a piece of furniture. It's not just a TV, it's like a piece of furniture, basically.
Yeah, the whole room together.
Yeah. Mention of Andy Hardy. I didn't get a chance to Google him, but they made mention of Andy Hardy.
Oh, Laurel and Hardy.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah.
Wait, Stan Laurel and Andy Hardy. Okay. Derp. I should know my history. Okay. Another thing that's super duper leapt out at me because I have both of these in my parents' house. A barometer next to the front door, that wood barometer with that like the metal thing in the middle with the wood casing and that shape of the barometer.
Love those.
Yeah. And the wood paneling all over the dining room. 70s and 80s. Hardcore. And finally, just the trope of a turkey taking forever to cook.
Yeah. Is that no longer a trope? Did that go away?
I feel like it was hammered on a lot more heavily when sitcoms were more the norm rather than for TV streaming shows, like streaming TV shows. So like it's not that it couldn't exist in a piece of media today. It's just that it was sort of the go-to for writers.
Gotcha. I gotcha. All right. Tookie, how white was this week's episode?
Damn it. We were so
for 2/3 of it.
They really front. I think because whoever is the director of casting and extras knew that the bulk of the episode was going to be at Carla's place with the main cast. They front loaded the hell out of this episode. So in the cold open, we have an Asian couple who walked in. It was nice to see. A black man and woman sitting at the upper booth by the door, and a black man next to the jukebox. And in scene one, another black man who's talking to the Asian woman who's a repeat extra by the piano, an Asian man by the back wall, a black man in the hallway, two black women by the jukebox, a black man behind Norm, and an Asian woman behind the back wall as well. So that brings us to 11 if you count the repeated extra.
All right. For an episode that was so much just the white people at Carla's house, it's something.
It's something. Nice to see more Asian representation too. Like they're getting a lot of like I think one person I noticed might have been Native American as well. So like not just limiting it to the binary of black and white, but like plenty of representation from people from all nations. We love to see it.
Very nice. Very nice. All right.
Can we? You touched on this in your '80s stuff, but I just want to shout out the design of the set design of Carla's house.
Yeah,
Which was, I thought, first of all, kudos to them for maintaining the design of the house from the episode earlier in the season.
yes.
And then kind of nailing what would happen if Carla and 6 feral children moved into that house. Like, it looked like it had been lived in by Carla and her kids.
Yeah.
Like the choices that they made, the decor, like the shift from like the from the greens that it was when she first looked at the house to like this like yellow orange wood combo. Like I just thought they just absolutely nailed the look of that living room. Like the geography, like with the like I knew where the kitchen was even though we were never there. The dining room, like off the living room, like everything about it just made so much sense and looked great. And like sometimes this series kind of drops the ball when it leaves the bar, and I thought they absolutely killed it with this set.
Oh wait, pause. Kelly made an important note.
I hate to be correcting, but Andy Hardy was a movie with Mickey Rooney. My bad.
Oh, you're right.
Hardy.
Aha. Oliver Hardy. That's what it is. Stan Laurel and
Why
Oliver
we started pre-taping.
Yeah, we fact check everything extensively from 5 to 7, so we lost that today.
Apology. Oliver Hardy. I wasn't even thinking about Andy. I heard Hardy and I went Laurel and Hardy.
Yeah, Andy Hardy leapt out at me, but I didn't get a chance to Google further into it, so I missed that.
Well,
I was like,
I don't get.
What's up?
That's a reference I don't get. I never saw the movie. Man, that was obscure even in the 80s.
We're gonna bring in a special segment every week now called Ask Kelly.
It's gonna be like, pardon the interruption with Stat Boy.
Yes. Well,
right,
Mickey was Mickey Rooney okay?
Boy, we don't have enough time. I know we're not a tight time crunch because we're not pre-recording. There's a lot to unpack with Mickey Rooney.
Okay, fair enough.
Yeah,
fair enough.
You thought we were walking a fine line with Hulkamania.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. It just
this sounds like someone who has not seen Breakfast at Tiffany's.
I have. Ooh. And it feels like Mickey Rooney walked so that Scarlett Johansson could truly run with that. Is Mickey Rooney okay? That's just my
turn that character into a white person.
Oh God.
And when you're saying at least that, you know how bad the comparison is. Yeah. Yep. Looking at you, Emma Watson and Aloha.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Okay, tiny nitpick. This is something probably not even mentioned. I don't know why it nags at me because it's just a sitcom, and don't think about this, Mike, because no one else is. This is 40 years later, but all of Carla's kids are with their father, Nick, in Atlantic City. What about Bennett Ludlow's kid?
Oh,
he's in Atlantic City with Nick.
Oh.
Wow, great call.
Thank you.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
They're with their dads, give us that, but they're all in Atlantic City with Nick. Very specific. I'm just saying, writer's room, you knocked it out of the park this week, but about that. Someone should have mentioned Lud would not be in Atlantic City.
I mean, the kid was smart enough to hold his own. I wouldn't put it past him to count cards at that age.
Hey, I'm not saying he wouldn't have done well for himself in Atlantic City. I'm saying I barely can see Nick Tortelli taking the ones that he's like legally responsible for.
Although I can also see a world where Carla's like, "Trust me, he's yours," and he's like, "Okay."
I guess. All right, but write that joke in.
I didn't do the math.
All I'm saying, you got to give us that. Because I know you didn't realize that 40 years later we'd be rewatching this on Peacock, but I caught it.
Yeah, no, he wouldn't know.
Nick, I beg to differ. Nick would know. Nick knows how much child support he's paying. He would catch this.
Nick and Carla.
He's not feeding a kid he doesn't have to feed.
Why am I so excited for that possible episode of the Maury Show between Nick and Carla?
Nick, you are the daddy.
That's a 2-part episode.
Gold.
Oh, Maury. I swear to God, he was once a newsman.
So was Jerry Springer.
Yep.
He was an elected official.
He was the mayor of Cincinnati.
Yeah.
And then just got rich. Crazy, crazy nights. All right. Where on the Pantheon are we ranking Thanksgiving Orphans? Because I believe this is extremely high.
This is a Rushmore episode for me.
Mm-hmm.
And so this is across seasons.
Yes.
So this is just like, even if it's not a perfect episode in terms of writing, continuity, whatever have you, it's such an iconic thing, and people know the thing about Vera getting pied.
I think, and I did the nitpick because I had to say that because it popped in my head. But I also understand that you just needed to get the kids out of there because you didn't want to have to write for the kids. So I don't even care that much. I think this might be my favorite that we've done so far. I think it might be Thanksgiving Orphans. As we are now 5 seasons in, I think it's got to be this one. Just top to bottom, so well done, so well performed, such a even episode. Everyone's got great stuff. Everyone's well represented. There's the perfect ending. It builds so nicely. I just don't think you can do it better than this one did it. It's great.
Yeah, I feel like if I was to like ding it, like this is totally unfair. Like this isn't a strike against it because I think it does. I think it does what you want for an episode in its 5th season. Like this wouldn't be like the first episode I would show somebody who'd never seen Cheers. But the reason I wouldn't show it to them is because it does such a great job of building on our understanding of who these people are and then giving us a chance to kind of see a little bit of some other sides of them, in a new context. So like, it's one of my all-time favorite episodes. It's the wrong one to show to somebody who like has never seen Cheers before to get them to love Cheers.
Yeah.
But once they understand what Cheers is, this is the episode you show them when you say like, now I want you to understand how good this show is because it can play with the form a little bit and get even better.
Yeah. And I think that's true though of almost every sitcom because the early seasons do so much heavy lifting in terms of the exposition.
Mm-hmm.
That's there and you kind of need it. That being said, I do think it wouldn't take that long to get somebody up to speed.
No, like I feel like you could show somebody this is like their 3rd episode of Cheers and it would do exactly what you want it to do.
If it was Thanksgiving and I had family over and some of them were young and they didn't know Cheers, I would feel comfortable showing them this episode and saying, you know what, here's what you need to know. Sam and Diane are in love with each other. They can't quite accept it. He proposed. She said no, but now she wants to marry him. So there's a whole will they, won't they thing here. Everybody else loves each other. Diane used to date Frasier, dumped him because she's still in love with Sam. You're up to speed. I think with that, you could watch this episode and enjoy Thanksgiving with the Cheers gang.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it like honors the things that we like about the holiday. I feel like that we talked about, the idea that like, at its best, like you come together with people you genuinely care about, and you find a way to celebrate with them. And like the way that they choose to celebrate with that food fight is so celebratory. It's so fun, and the way that all the line blurs between actors having a good time playing with each other and those characters working out how they feel with each other using food is it's so fun to watch that kind of dissolve.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just great. I think this is my top so far.
Yeah.
This is it. It's so good. So, so good. Bravo, everyone on the Thanksgiving Orphans. Just a great one. All right. And there you go. We're going to put that bad boy to bed. Do we have anything to plug this week, my friends? Tookie, anything fun happening?
Oh, Mike Kaplan is in town, and he's doing the Cantab, so I'm going to get a tetanus shot in advance. But I will be opening.
Wonderful.
Your friend Mike Kaplan this Thursday, December 15th at the Cantab.
That's a good show.
Yeah. It'll be a good time.
What night is that? How can people get tickets?
Oh, the Thursday, the December 15th. I believe it's on Mike's website, myqkaplan.com, if you Google him. But also, I believe, if I'm not mistaken, I believe it's produced by Duck Goofs.
Okay.
But go to Mike's website, check his social media. He'll have it up.
There you go. Dave, anything to plug other than your negative COVID test?
Got one more weekend of the Humans. I'll be back at it in full force on Thursday through Sunday. TheWilburGroup.org for tickets. I think most of the shows are sold out this weekend, but there's probably a few still floating around.
Very nice.
Yay.
All right. Sold out run of the Humans. And if there's anything that screams fun in the holidays, it's the Humans.
It's come to think of it, it's a Thanksgiving. It's a place set at Thanksgiving.
Where everything goes well.
No food fights, sadly.
Check it out. All right. That'll do you for the week. Xander Bogaerts is gone. I don't know if we want to reference anything that happened. I've not recovered. 11 years, 280 million. God bless you. You know, the Red Sox, I don't even know what the plan is unless it's selling the team. I really do. It's the only thing that makes sense at this point, because even just aside from how much we all loved Xander on a personal level, you could have had an asset. He would have signed for Trevor Story money. You could have gotten him for 6 years, 150 million a year ago. You would have had an asset other people valued at 280 million for 150, 160. That's good business. What are you doing? I don't get it. I don't understand it. It's killing me.
My daughter is crushed. She no longer gets to hear X Gon Give It To You as the wrap-up song anymore. I absolutely loved it.
We've lost so much. We have lost so much.
On top of losing DMX, we got damn. That's hard.
Yeah, it's a double whammy.
Yeah.
Ouch.
It's
I don't like it.
Terrible. The Celtics have lost 2 in a row.
To the Clippers?
I know. It's a tough road stretch. I'm understanding. Big Al has been missing. I get it. You know, Blake is fine when you're having him play 1 game a week. When you've got him starting 3 straight games,
yeah,
there's going to be problems. I understand.
The Clippers, man.
What is it?
The Clippers, though.
I don't want to blow it out of proportion. There's some on the Clippers. Paul George is good. Ty Lue is an excellent coach.
Yeah.
I just want to win at the Lakers tonight. If that happens, it's going to be okay. Although I have to chaperone my son's field trip tomorrow, so I'm probably not going to stay up for the whole game. But there you go.
Where's the trip going?
Pequot Museum.
Ooh, fun.
Speaking of Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
We're going to the Pequot Museum, which is right near a casino, and hopefully he doesn't ask about it.
Just, take a little 5-minute break.
Sure. No, dude, I gotta drive to Connecticut for this field trip, and then I gotta leave immediately to go and do a bubble show like in the afternoon. I got like a 12-hour day ahead of me tomorrow.
Oof. Go to bed.
Yeah.
That is the plan.
Go to bed. Screw it.
It's on the docket. All right. We went live. I hope you all enjoyed it. This episode deserved it. Until next week, I am Mike. That's Tookie. That's Dave. That was Kelly. Stay safe, everybody. Happy holidays. We'll see you in 7 short days. Bye.